What is going on YouTube? Greetings from Alaska. We're actually cruising to Juneau right now. We should pull in sometime in the next couple hours. So you should be treated to a beautiful background, but that's not what this video is about. Today's video is about my April monthly expenses. Last month I did a video called my monthly expenses for March and you guys really enjoyed that video. So I figured I would do a follow-up for the month of April and continue doing this type of video in the future if it's something you enjoy. I am currently cruising full time, which is about to end. I have about 21 more days left, all Alaskan cruising, which I'm super excited about. But then I head over to Southeast Asia and I spend a couple of months in different countries. So if you're interested in me continuing these monthly expense report type of videos so you can see how much it costs to travel full time, let me know down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's jump into what it costs me to live on a cruise ship for the month of April. Okay, let's jump into this video and talk about what last month's numbers were. So in the month of March, you'll see here I spent $2,055. I want to talk about this housing number real quick because I had a bunch of questions from this video about what's included in this number, and it's going to be almost the same as what's included in this month's number, although it's a little bit more inexpensive. So let's talk about that really quick. So this housing number includes my lodging, my food on board, and all my entertainment, all that kind of stuff, and including like hopping from city to city here in Alaska and other places that I've been cruising on. With every one of these cruises, I get onboard credit of between $100 and $300 a cruise here. I'll circle it on this receipt so you can see what I'm talking about. That comes from future cruise credits, from being a veteran, from owning shares in the cruise line stock, and also because I'm sailing on certain discounts, I had to put a $200 deposit down, which is refunded as onboard credit. So every cruise I'm getting between $300 and $500 of onboard credit. And I use that money to pay for incidental expenses like gratuities, internet, any coffees I drink, or anything like that. A lot of you had questions about that stuff. I thought I addressed it, but I must have missed it. If you want to know more about onboard credit, go watch my video called How to Find Cheap Cruises, where I go in depth about onboard credit. Anybody can get onboard credit. There's a bunch of different ways. You just don't have to be a military veteran. There are a zillion different ways, and you can walk on board a ship with some onboard credit. So this is the big elephant in the room that I kept getting questioned about on my last video. So most of my Princess cruises now are casino deals, so I don't pay any cruise fare. I just pay port fees, taxes, and gratuities, and then that $200 deposit, as I mentioned. But I sailed for 7 months without any casino deals anywhere, and I still was able to cruise for between $2,500 a month to $4,000 a month. I have a whole video about this, how to find cheap cruises. So don't think it's out of reach for you because I've got a few casino deals. Also, a lot of people are curious how I got the casino deals. I don't really gamble that much. I'll put a little clip in this video at the very end from another video I did explaining how I got the cruise deals. So you can either go watch that, watch last month's video where I did my expense report, or you can fast forward to the end of this video and watch how I got the cruise deals. But don't be discouraged by that. You can still cruise pretty inexpensively. Believe it or not, the cruise fare portion of your cost for a cruise is actually usually cheaper than the port fees, taxes, and gratuities. So it's not that much more than I'm spending every single month on cruising. Okay, enough about that. Let's jump into these numbers. The first receipt we will pull up here is March 23rd and ends April 7th. Because we're only talking about the cost for April, we'll prorate this receipt. This will cover the days of 1 to 6 April. Why are we not covering the 7th of April? Because that's the day this cruise ends and the next cruise starts. So the 7th will be picked up in the next receipt, and you'll see that in a moment. So the total cost of this cruise was $737.37. The cruise was 15 days. So we'll divide 737 by 15 and we get $49 and almost 16 cents. We'll take that times 6 and we get $294.95 when you round it up, that last penny over there. The next receipt is from 7 April to 13 April. Again, I know it says it ends 14 April, but that's when the next cruise will pick up, and we'll look at that receipt in a moment. So this one's easy. We don't have to do any math because this is all the month of April. You'll see this cruise fare was $477.28. The next receipt also is for the full month of April. It's the 14th through the 29th of April, and it was $387.84. And the next receipt is the cruise I'm on right now, actually, but it included one day of April, the 30th. So we'll have to prorate this receipt here. You'll see it ends on May 7th. I'm actually recording this video on May 2nd, I believe. Maybe it's May 1st, but I think it's May 2nd. And this cruise was $450.27. We'll divide that by 7, the number of days of the cruise. We get $64.32 times 1, obviously, because it only includes the 30th. That's $64.32. We take all of this cruise cost, the $294.95, the $477.28, the $387.84, and this $64.32. We add it all together and we get a grand total of $1,224.39. So that was my entire cruise fare for the month. Again, this is on casino deals. If I had booked it without casino deals, it probably would have cost about $1,000 to $1,200 more a month. So still not too bad, but I did get it on casino deals, so we got to factor that in. All right, let's jump into the next category, which is dining out. Normally I just eat on the cruise ship, but I was in Hawaii, so I definitely spent some money on dining out. As you'll see here, I spent $117. I ate a bunch of yummy stuff, including some shaved ice, which I love, some food from L&L Barbecue. If you ever go to Hawaii, go to L&L. You should always get 2 mac and 1 rice. If you've been to Hawaii before or lived there, you know what that means. If you know, you know. I also ate some poutine before we left at a little cafe in Canada. And so I spent $117 dining out this month. The next category is groceries. So I spent $51.49 on groceries. That was almost all coffee creamer. I also had a subscriber named Eleanor bring me some Silk almond milk creme brulee creamer, which is my favorite. She's actually from Canada, but drove down to the United States, got 2 bottles of it, came on the cruise ship and gave it to me. So if you're watching, Eleanor, thanks a lot for the creamer. I really appreciate it. But again, that total came out to $51.49. Next up is my cell phone. I have a $55 a month plan with T-Mobile, but I paid for an international charge for last month since I was in so many international places. And so I bought a pass for $50 with taxes. It came out to $108.94. Okay, the next line item here is insurance. That includes my homeowner's insurance. I own a house. I also have an umbrella policy because I have a renter, and that insurance is $54.32 a month. I know most people won't have that type of thing. It's just something I have, but it's an expense I have, and I'm including all expenses that I have as a full-time traveler, even if they have nothing to do with traveling. All right, next up is healthcare. I am fortunate enough, I spent 20 years in the military. When I retired, I get healthcare for life. I actually pay for the healthcare I get because I've opted for like a public option. So it's through Humana, but it's super low cost. It's less than $15 a month, still pretty inexpensive. The next line item is travel and transport. I don't have any of that this month, even though I'm traveling everywhere. That's included in my cruise fare. All right, next up is entertainment. So the only thing I bought this month was a Hulu subscription because the new season of Alone went on Hulu. So I paid $7.99 for that Hulu expense. And also when I was in Oregon, I went to the Goonies Museum in Astoria, and that was $6 to get into there. Okay, next up is shopping. I spent more money this month than I normally do, but I needed a couple things. You'll see my shopping came out to $379.72. That included a book I bought called Pathfinders by J.L. Collins. I love that author. He wrote a book called The Simple Path of Wealth that led me to the ability to travel full-time like I do. It's a great book, but he wrote a book recently called Pathfinders that talks about people who followed his book, Simple Path to Wealth. And I wanted to support him, so I bought that. It's actually a great book if you want to get motivated to save money and gain your freedom from having to work, if you're interested in that type of thing. The next thing I bought this month was a Wonder Boom speaker. I also bought some Hoka shoes. They're super expensive. They were like $175, but I've been walking 20 to 30,000 steps a day, and I just beat the crap out of my Skechers walking shoes. So I wanted to try a brand that's supposedly built for this. So we'll see if I can get 1,000 miles out of these Hoka. But again, they were a little expensive. So we'll see if I do that again in the future. But I can tell you this, they are super, super comfortable, and I'm loving them for that reason. It was a total of $379.72 for this month. The last expense is miscellaneous. Last month I had a tax bill expense on here that you won't see this month. This month it's 99 cents for my iCloud storage that I pay for through Apple. So here's the big reveal. My total for the month was $1,966, actually less than I spent last month, even though I spent like $300 on a pair of shoes and a Wonder Boom wireless speaker that added to my expenses. So pretty inexpensive this month. What do you think? Could you do this on $2,000 if the cruise ship was throwing casino deals at you? Again, next month I start traveling in Southeast Asia, and you'll be able to see what it costs me to live there. So if you enjoy that type of content, make sure you subscribe. And if you thought this video was pretty cool and you found it valuable, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching. See you next video. So before I started my 1 year on a cruise ship, I took a trial cruise run, actually on this ship. So you guys asked me to film some of the casinos, so I came down to this very casino, and I put $50 into a slot machine. I subsequently lost that $50 pretty quickly, but at the end of the cruise, I got a little envelope slipped under my door that said, hey, on your next cruise, you have $150 free credit. So that meant I could take $150 down to the casino and put it into the slot machines. So this was December of 2022. Cruising was just starting back up again, and they were trying to encourage people to go cruising. So I kind of got lucky in that respect. So I went to my next cruise with my $150. I went down to the casino. I put that $150 in a slot machine, and I won a little mini jackpot. It was like $1,200, somewhere around there. So I took my money, put it in my pocket, said, yay, gambling is great. I ran into the YouTubers Para DJ on the cruise, and they said, hey man, we cruise for free on Princess and Carnival because of free casino cruises. I know you got that $1,200, but you should consider putting it back in the casino and seeing if maybe you get some of these free cruise offers. So that's what I did. I ended up playing that entire jackpot in the casino. It took me a while to get through that, by the way. I was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I racked up a bunch of casino points. And then at the end of the cruise, I got another envelope slipped under my door, this time for $250 casino credit. And I was like, well, that wasn't worth it. Cost me $1,300 to get that. About 10 days after my cruise, I got this email that said, hey, book a free inside cabin with us and get 150 or 250 onboard credit. I was like, oh, great. I got a free cruise out of it. So I went to book the cruise, and I went online and I saw all these cruises. Every cruise under 21 days was $0 for an inside cabin. And I would have to pay the port fees, taxes, and gratuities, as well as put down a $200 deposit. So I did that. I booked it. And then I went back into the search engine to book some more cruises, and I saw that it was still $0. And I was like, what's going on here? So I went and read the fine print of the email, and it said, every offer you get, you can book 3 cruises. And in the next month or so, I started getting all these casino deal offers, and with every one that I received, I was able to book another cruise. So once I got to the cruise ships and we're on those cruises, I was like, how long is this gonna maintain? And so I was watching this channel called Cruising with Mark, and he was talking about how to maintain your free cruise eligibility, and it was basically by gambling. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play my free credit, and anything I win with the free credit, because when you play free credit, every time you win, it converts to real money. And I was like, I'll play my free credit and all my real money. And at the end of the cruise, whatever onboard credit I have left, I'll put in the casino. And sometimes that was $200-$300. Princess lets you use your onboard credit in the casino. Some cruise lines don't, but Princess does. So that was my strategy. And I've kept that up till now. I always put my free play into the casino, and anything I win from my free play, and then whatever onboard credit I have left, I play in the casino, and that's kept me in the casino system. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's lasted for like 9-10 months. So I'm still getting free cruises, and I'm going to take advantage of it as long as I can.